All right, it's January 2nd, 2025, just 2 days into the new year, and we have new information released about the two suspects in the New Orleans terror attack and the Cybertruck explosion attack in Las Vegas outside Trump Tower. We now have both of the suspects' identities, their photos, and videos of them from prior years. Both of these men are former military. The Cybertruck suspect? Special Forces, Green Beret, for 18 years. This is not at all what it appears to be, folks. I'm going to tell you. The more you learn about these two suspects, the more unreal it becomes. So what the hell is going on? We're going to show you, but before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. It's been over 24 hours since these two terror attacks were perpetrated against the U.S. homeland. First, the disgusting New Orleans attack that took the lives of 15 innocent Americans. Then, the deliberate Cybertruck explosion attack outside Trump Tower in Las Vegas. The Cybertruck attack, bizarre. Just completely bizarre. Why is nobody focusing on the giant elephant in the room here? Somebody self-detonated the Cybertruck. A Green Beret of 18 years, self-detonated. That's what they're saying, that he self-detonated. Watch.
That source also revealed what was inside the truck, explosives that included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, and authorities believe that that was connected to a detonation system controlled by the driver. We're also hearing this same sentiment from Elon Musk, who tweeted out that they have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and/or a bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. So he was clear to say that this was not an issue with the Cybertruck. And the sheriff also earlier said that they are checking for secondary devices. They're investigating many different leads, but he was clear to say that there does not appear to be any further threat to the Las Vegas community.
So they're saying he was a suicide bomber. They want us to believe an American Special Forces soldier with 18 years of service as a Green Beret was angry enough at Donald Trump and Elon Musk to carry out a terror attack against the property of the President-elect of the United States. That's what they're saying. That's the picture that they're painting. We're going to show you everything we know because, officially, what the FBI has told us publicly, officially, is very, very little. They don't believe the suspects were working alone. They said they're now investigating whether the two suspects were connected in some way. Both suspects. Ex-military, ex-US military. Both men used Turo to rent the vehicles they used. Both men were trained to take out terrorists, spent their careers hunting down and killing terrorists. We have both their names and photos now. Their careers? We now know who these men were, and their backgrounds don't mesh at all with the crimes. Whatsoever. Something is very, very wrong with this entire situation. The Cybertruck driver's name, Matthew Livelsberger, 37 years old, Special Forces for 18 years, Green Beret. You can see his photo here. He lived in Colorado Springs. He had a wife who, if you look further into this relationship, is very political. She's a hardcore Democrat. Trump hater through and through. I'm not saying there's any connection there, but those are the facts. The FBI swarmed his home yesterday, conducting a search warrant. Watch this.
This is confirmed to News 5 that a Colorado Springs man was the driver of a Cybertruck that exploded in front of the Trump International Hotel this morning in Las Vegas. They say 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger died inside the vehicle. El Paso County records show that Livelsberger has several addresses in our area, and they're now the focus of a federal investigation. FBI agents are at one of his addresses on the east side of the city. That's where we find News 5's Maggie Bryan, who's been there for hours. Maggie, what are you seeing?
Megan, this is about all we can see of this scene right now. I'll step out of the way. You can see some of those flashing lights behind me. Those are coming from a few law enforcement vehicles blocking off the entrance to this townhome complex. Now, this is near Stetson Hills Boulevard and Mark Shuffle Road on the east side of Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs police confirmed to us that FBI agents are here investigating this home. We have learned that Livelsberger is connected to this townhome. Senior law enforcement officials say he lived in Colorado Springs and was the driver of the Cybertruck. Our team has seen agents out here since about 7:30 this evening. We've also been back and forth to the Stetson Hills Police substation about 3 miles down the road, where we've seen a few armored vehicles in the parking lot there. We'll be out here talking with law enforcement and trying to get any more information we can tonight. For now, in Colorado Springs, I'm Maggie Bryan, News 5.
The New Orleans attacker, like we knew, was Shamsuddin Jabbar, 42 years old, residing in Texas. Again, former U.S. military. Jabbar was awarded the Global War on Terrorism Medal for his service in Afghanistan. His commanding officer is on record saying he was a great soldier, someone who showed discipline and dedication. Here's a video of Jabbar after leaving the service, pitching himself as a realtor. Let's take a listen to this.
Good evening. I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Meadow Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my career as a real estate agent.
Both men served at the same base, Fort Bragg. It's a huge base. However, the FBI says at the moment there's no evidence they were working together yet, but they're investigating it. They're saying the New Orleans attack was ISIS-related, the terror group that Donald Trump stomped into the ground, blew to smithereens during his first administration. ISIS hasn't taken credit for this, or what's left of the organization hasn't taken credit for this. So why are they saying ISIS is involved? Because the truck the driver used had an ISIS flag on it. And hours before the attack, he posted on social media that he was ISIS-inspired. Here's Joe Biden addressing this.
Watch this.
Here's what we know so far. The FBI has reported to me the killer was an American citizen, born in Texas. He served in the United States Army on active duty for many years. He also served in the Army Reserve until a few years ago. The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage. And the fact is that right now,
And let's not forget, we just saw the remnants of ISIS and Al-Qaeda work together, backed by Western intelligence and NATO, to overthrow Bashar al-Assad in Syria. That just happened. Is there some connection here? Who the hell knows? But this story, the entire story, just gets very, very odd. The driver of the Las Vegas Cybertruck attack had to self-detonate, meaning they want us to believe he was a suicide bomber. So let me get this straight. The story out of Las Vegas, according to the feds, is that people are so angry with Donald Trump and Elon Musk that they would self-detonate a Cybertruck for political reasons, for a political statement, not killing anyone in the process, thanks to it being a Cybertruck. But you're telling me Matthew Levelsberger, a Green Beret, 18 years in Special Forces, a highly trained individual who spent his career taking out terrorists, most likely having seen suicide bombers in the field, decided at the snap of a finger that he's just going to become one? To teach Donald Trump and Elon Musk a lesson? It just seems so far-fetched to me. It makes no freaking sense. Now, his wife, like I said, very, very political, anti-Trumper. But an anti-Trumper becoming a suicide bomber? Come on, both vehicles used, the one in New Orleans and the one in Las Vegas, were rented from San Francisco-based Turo. Turo, the company, wrote in a statement, "We do not believe that either renter had a criminal background that would have identified them as a security threat, and we are not currently aware of any information that indicates the two incidents are related." Then, Louisiana Attorney General Morell spoke to NBC this morning, saying investigators now believe multiple people were involved in the Bourbon Street massacre. We knew that. Authorities believe explosive devices were built and prepared in an Airbnb they rented in the New Orleans metro area, saying, "We know these individuals had rented the house and that they were using it for that purpose." They're admitting that there are multiple people involved, people who are still out there. The authorities haven't arrested them all. There are local reports in Texas saying a SWAT unit did bring in several people, including children, out of a home in Houston, Texas, yesterday afternoon in connection with the New Orleans attack. But they still believe there are multiple suspects at large. Yet Louisiana is scheduled to have their huge football game, the Sugar Bowl, tonight at Caesars Superdome. The Attorney General said the community is safe because they increased law enforcement presence throughout the city. Yeah, look, I'd recommend skipping that football game, folks. Better safe than sorry. There's clearly something bigger at work here. Some of the people responsible are still out there. How has the FBI not caught these people yet? The FBI, a complete clown show. After the last 4 years spending their time focusing on what? White supremacy. They told us year after year that it's the largest threat the U.S. homeland faces. Hunting down scary Trump supporters. Scary Trump-supporting grandmothers. Parents who show up to school board meetings. They're too worried about that to fight actual crime, to stop things like this. We need Kash Patel confirmed ASAP. He needs to go in there, gut the FBI. Those 60,000 or whatever agents that work at the FBI in D.C., what the hell are they doing? 60,000 or something like that agents working in D.C. Fire half of them. Send the other half out there to be cops. That's what Kash wants to do, promised to do, and it's what's needed, like yesterday. In a recent episode of The Sean Ryan Show, former CIA targeting officer Sarah Adams warned of what she called potentially devastating attacks on the homeland coming in 2025, saying 1,000 al-Qaeda fighters are already in the U.S. They know they're here. They know they've crossed the border. Yes, you heard that right. They crossed the border. She said Joe Biden's open border allowed 10+ million people just to waltz into the interior of the country. Some of them, it turns out, are bad people. Watch.
I just want to clarify. You are 100% certain that there are 1,000 plus al-Qaeda trained fighters within the United States borders?
Well, al-Qaeda says they trained and deployed 1,000 for this attack. First off, I think there's more than 1,000 al-Qaeda members in the United States. But for the Homeland attack, that number is based on what al-Qaeda is saying, so they could exaggerate it. However, they did have about 1,400 in the Hamas attack, so the number is not off from what they did in the first round of attacks.
How old is this information?
I mean, it's ongoing. So the training's already done, right? So all the training info is now old because they trained all the Homeland attackers, if that makes sense. So like next week, you're not going to get info of a Homeland attacker probably at a terrorist camp because it's already done. So all this has been in the last year.
So it's been over a year. It's been a year.
Because this was a continuation, so they planned October 7th first, and then they rolled into planning this after.
Are we next, or is Europe next?
I think the embassy attacks are next, in my opinion.
What are they waiting for the embassies?
I don't think they're waiting. I think it took time to train them. They've now approved them, and they've now moved into the operational stage.
So what do you make of all this? Well, look, I sure as hell wouldn't rule out that they were coerced into doing this somehow. At least the Cybertruck guy. I mean, it's just speculation, but if I were investigating this, I wouldn't rule that out. I just find it so hard to believe and fathom. You spend 18 years of your life literally hunting down and taking out terrorists, only to just flip a switch and become one. We know that Matthew Livelsberger was highly trained. You'd think he wouldn't build something like that. That required self-detonation, unless he was sent to do it, or forced to do it somehow. Again, just speculation. But the media is trying to paint this picture that people are so angry with Elon and Donald Trump that they're becoming suicide bombers to make political statements. Give me a freaking break. It also turns out that the only reason the explosion wasn't worse and didn't cause massive damage was because they used a Cybertruck. The structural integrity of the Cybertruck contained the blast, according to Las Vegas police. Listen to this.
What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, It looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a Cybertruck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet, because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front.
So, look, 4 more days until the election is certified. 18 days until Trump is sworn in. The closer we get, the crazier things will become, I'm afraid. Be safe. Stay vigilant. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.